Hi, my name's Paul Grogan and welcome to the first of the Gaming Rules monthly video logs for the month of November 2017. This video is being released at the start of December and it's going to cover everything that I've been, well not everything, but it's going to be covering a lot of the things that I've been doing in November 2017. Now, I've been wanting to create a monthly video log for quite a while. I was inspired to do one from other people's ones, such as the ones from John Gets Games that are really good and I really enjoy watching them, but I couldn't afford to take the time away from the paid work in order to create them. However, I launched my Patreon in October of this year and it was successful enough that I managed to reach the goal where I'm now going to create one of these monthly video logs. So, the first thing is feedback. I want to know what you think about this. Is the format okay? I mean, I'm basically going to be going through the things that I've been doing this month and the games that I've been playing and various other things. But also, I'm sat in my front room. I'm not sat in the Gaming Rules studio. I'm not sat in front of my big box of shelves. And I wanted to try something different. I'm not wearing the Gaming Rules shirt. I'm wearing the Board Game Trading and Chat UK Facebook group shirt. So I just wanted people's feedback on, is this the kind of thing that you want to see in this monthly video log? Or do you want to see something different? Anyway, let's crack on with things that I've got to talk about. So, the first thing is rules videos. Now, one rules video did go live this month. There were 3 last month, but technically this is November's video log, which is Pulsar 2849 from CGE. I wanted to get this video done just before I left for BGG Con, and I did just that. I managed to get it done on the Friday after working crazy hours that week, very stressed, very tired, and then left for BGG Con on the Monday morning. Just before I got on the plane to Amsterdam, somebody pointed out that there was a slight wording error with one of the phrases to do with the movement section. So I felt pretty terrible because I pride myself on my accuracy and conciseness of my videos, and all of a sudden there was one thing in there which was slightly incorrect. Now, you know, other people fix that later on. You can't do annotations anymore with YouTube, but I decided that I was going to take the video down and redo it, but that had to wait until I was back from BGG Con. So when I got back, I fixed the video and uploaded a new version. So the version that's on there now is the correct version. The old one was slightly wrong, so if you've watched the old one, apologies, I got the movement rules slightly wrong. I said that you're not allowed to use the same flight path in the same direction more than once, and actually you're not allowed to use the same flight path at all in any direction more than once. So anyway, new video's up, that's Pulsar 2849. The other rules video that I've finished is Loot Island, which actually got finished yesterday, but Watch Your Game need to check it to make sure it's all okay, and they're not going to be able to do that until this weekend. So that video will be going live next month, although I hope everything's okay with that one. That's it for the rules videos. Podcasts. I only managed to do one podcast in the month of November. The other one I'm planning to record it this weekend, so that'll go into December. So this was podcast 54 with Tom Heath and Ben Maddox. We're talking about our Essen experiences. We all went to Essen this year, and we talked about some of the games that we played there, some of the games that we bought there and we've played since we got back, and basically a little bit about Essen. So I'll put a link to this in the show notes, and there's a little eye up in the corner of the screen. So if you want to click on the eye, you can go listen to that podcast. The next thing up is video reviews, and unfortunately I wasn't able to meet my quota of doing 2 reviews in November, which means I'll be basically doing more reviews than I'd planned in December. I also wasn't sure what games I wanted to cover. I wanted to cover some of the new games that I've got from Essen, but a lot of them I hadn't even played until near the end of the month, and some of them I've now only even played once. So whilst I'm very keen to share my initial thoughts about this game, there is obviously a train of thought to say that if you're going to do a review, you need to have played it 10 times with all player counts and everything else. Well, that's not going to happen, but I am hoping to play some of the games 2 or 3 times before I do a review for it. What I did do though is just earlier on this week I've posted another guest review. Paul Mazzoni from over all the way in America sent me his short 5-minute review of Ethnos, which I have actually played myself. I didn't add my thoughts on the game to the video, it's just Paul's video and it's what he thought about the game. I've played it a couple of times and I actually quite like it as well. So if you're interested in a quick short review of Ethnos, then again click on the link in the show notes or the eye in the top corner. On to rulebook work. Now, a lot of you know that I do a lot of rulebook editing, and some of the rulebook editing I do is just a little bit here and there. Sometimes I'm really involved in a rulebook, and it will be like a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 hour job. Other times I'm just involved a little bit and do a few hours here and there. So some of the ones that I've been working on, Invasion from Louter Pellet is a game which they've got coming out next year. Now, I've spent quite a lot of time on this rulebook this year already over the last few months. They sent me the latest version, which I've had a bit of a look through this month, and we're pretty much near the end of the editing and proofing stages for this. So this is Invasion from Louter Pellet, which is a two teams, humans versus aliens. Aliens have invaded the Earth, and it's basically it's a tactical combat game with standees, but you know, it's not a miniatures war game or anything like that. It's got some interesting rules in it, and I hope they're clear. There's another rulebook that I'm working on for a game called Centre Shaft from Not My Eyeballs. I've done some work on this in November, and I'm going to be doing some more of it in December. So that's going to be coming out. I think that's going to Kickstarter next year, and it's really good that they're getting editors involved in the process of doing a good rulebook before the game goes on Kickstarter, rather than at the end and doing it as a last-minute thought. Next one, Cave In Star Scrappers. Again, another one that I've been involved with over the last few months here and there. In November it got finished. Now this is a game which was successful on Kickstarter, and they just needed to get the rulebook finished before it went to print, and that's all now done. So anybody who backed that game, I believe that it's all now gone to print and the rulebook should be okay, so that's that one. Legends Untold, I've been involved in a lot in the rulebook for Legends Untold, but this month I've been doing some proofing on the actual cards. There's a huge number of cards in this game, and there's loads and loads of text on all of the cards, so of course that all needs checking, and I've been helping out with the layout of the cards and everything else. So that's Legends Untold from Inspiring Games. They're the main ones that I've been working on. As I say, I don't want to cover all of the nitty-bitty details of all of the little bits of editing that I do, but they're the main ones. Around the middle of the month I got a chance to go to BGG Con. I left on the Monday morning and I arrived back the week after on the Monday evening. So it was pretty much an 8-day trip away. Now BGG Con is the Board Game Geek Con. It's held twice a year, once in spring, once in November, and I managed to go to the one in November. I've been for the last, this will be my 3rd year that I've been. It's a really, really good convention. It's 90% people playing games. There's a couple of trade halls, but they're not really that busy. The main part is people get to go and they get to play games, because it's all the new games from Essen. So, I mean, it's not all about the new games. There's people there playing older games as well. But this is people's chance to play a lot of the new games that have just come out. And obviously BGG come back from Essen with a whole load of the new games, put them in the library, and it's a really, really good convention. I spent 5 days demoing Pulsar in the hot games area, and you know me, I love demoing games, so I had a really, really good time. I also did a little bit of demoing of Keeper and Lisboa in my lunch break, and one evening when I finished work at 6 o'clock and was really tired and thought I need to go for some food, I ended up demoing Lisboa to another group, just because, you know, they were sat there on the table near me, they had the rulebook, they looked a bit confused, they were struggling to learn how to play, so I'd jump in and start helping them out. Now I didn't work every waking hour like I do at some other conventions. I did have most of the evenings free, and I got time to hang out with some cool people, some friends that I've got to know over the last few years, and I even played a couple of games myself. I played 1.5 games of Transatlantic, I played Gold Fever, and I played Stacker Biddy. So yeah, I didn't play very much, but there's some good games that I played. Another convention was GridCon. Now, some of you who followed me for a few years might have heard of a thing called Rune Meet. Rune Meet has been going for the last 17 years, I think, and it started out as Paul's post-Essen Games Weekend. And the idea is that 1 month after Essen, I would have a load of people over for the weekend, and we'd play lots of, well, basically all of the games that we'd brought back from Essen. Now, this year I've rebranded Rune Meet into GridCon, which is Gaming Rules in Devon. I've been meaning to do this for quite a while, so I finally got round to doing it this year, and there was a whole load of games played at GridCon. If you want to see the complete list, then check out the link in the show notes, but there is a geek list of all of the games played. I played quite a few games myself. I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of the highlights were Noria, which I played for the first time, and I'd heard lots of things about Noria, and a lot of people say, no, it's okay, but it wasn't great. I played it, I really, really enjoyed it. Maybe I went into it with low expectations. I also went into it knowing that the rulebook was terrible, because lots of people had said the rulebook was terrible. I didn't find that at all, and I'm like the world's most critical person of rulebooks. We apart from one sentence that was in German, forget that, it was okay. There was a couple of bits that were unclear, but I've read far, far worse rulebooks. So that was Noria, really enjoyed that. Flamme Rouge, I finally got to play. Now, unlike Noria, where a lot of people had said, it's okay, Flamme Rouge is a game which has been built up to me to be absolutely amazing. So many people have said so many things about this game. I went into the game thinking, right, well, I really want to play it. Let's see. and loved it. Absolutely loved it. I just thought it was so thematic. I mean, I don't follow cycling racing at all, but the fact that the group stays together and you're having to pace yourself, and then at some point somebody breaks, and if you break too early you'll get exhausted by the end of it. The way that the deck building works with the cards, I just found it really, really good. Now, that was my first game of it. After I've played it 20 times, it might end up being the same thing every time. I don't know, but I really, really enjoyed my first play and want to play that again. Mini Rails I'd heard lots of good things about, and Richard Klein brought a copy with him, and oh wow. Mini Rails is such a fantastic game. The rules are so simple. The game plays in about 20 to 30 minutes, but there's so much depth to it, and there's so many interesting decisions that I'm really, sad that I didn't pick up a copy. They sold out on like day one of Essen, so hopefully there's going to be a reprint at some point, or it's going to be picked up by another publisher. And yeah, Mini Rails was really good. I think I played that 3 times over the weekend. Agra was the last game we played. So on the Sunday night, after playing games solidly for 3 days, absolutely shattered, struggling to stay awake, what did we decide to do? Play Agra from the rulebook. None of us knew how to play. Adam had thankfully had been reading through the rules, and Paul had watched a bit of a video on it, and then we jumped into play. 4.5 hours later, we finished it. It was about 1:30 in the morning. Now, 4.5 hours, because halfway through we'd got a couple of key rules wrong, and it's not because they weren't clear in the rulebook. The rulebook's actually pretty good. It's just there were so many rules, and it was late at night, and we were learning, and we forgot them. And then halfway through the game, we were looking at the rulebook for something else, and went, "Oh, wait a minute! You can follow people. Oh, wait a minute! You can deliver things to the thing at the end of your turn without having to." Oh, right. That would have sped the game up a lot. Anyway, loved it. I think all of the other players that were playing it at the time loved it. So we decided to leave it set up and then play it again on the Monday morning before everybody left. So that's Agra. Probably the heaviest game that I brought back from Essen, literally and figuratively, but really, really good game. Very much enjoyed that one. So that's a few of the highlights of what I played at GridCon. As I say, if you want to see the complete list, then check out the link below. Now, what else is happening? This video is being recorded on the 1st of December, and later on today I'm heading off to London to go to Dragon Meet. So, Dragon Meet will appear in the next monthly video log, but that's just to let you know that that's where I'm going this weekend. And also things that I'm working on in December, bit of advance notice. Rulebook for Knights of Fire, which I'm going to have a quick look at, and I'm going to be doing a video for that, which is going to be launching on Kickstarter in January. Keeper, I'm also going to be working on a video for Keeper, and there's a few other things that I'm going to be working on as well, but they're not definite yet, so I don't want to mention them here. Now, going back to Patreon, I mentioned earlier on that I launched my Patreon in October, and one thing that I'm going to be doing every month is I'm going to be doing a prize giveaway, and this month I have a copy of Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. It's the Jack the Ripper and the West End Adventures that I was very pleased to work as editor on, because I'm a massive fan of the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective series, having got the original game I think in 1983 or 1984. I appear on a podcast, the Longview podcast. I'll put a link in the show notes. If you want to hear me talking all about Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective and my history with the game, then go check that out. It's basically me talking for about half an hour about how I got introduced to the game and how I ended up becoming the editor of this version. So I'm going to be giving this away. Now, it's going to be going to one of the Patreon backers. And the way that this is going to work is everybody who backs at producer level gets basically 1 ticket. Everybody who backs at executive producer level gets 3 tickets. They're all going to go into a virtual hat, which is going to be an Excel spreadsheet. And then I'm going to be doing a random number draw to see who wins. So let's go over to the spreadsheet and do the draw. Okay, so we can see on the left-hand side all of the tickets. We have the executive producers here. They get 3 tickets each, and then all of the producers with 1 ticket each. So I just need to enter a random number here. Let's look at this. Between 1 and 33, and the winner is number... Oh, I've done it wrong. Number 23, which is Chris Incow. So congratulations, Chris. I will somehow get this game to you. It may be the next time I come across to the States or whatever, but I'll find a way of getting this game to you. So thank you very much for being a patron of mine, and congratulations on winning. And there we go, that's pretty much it for the month of November. It was a crazy busy month. I was working some crazy hours during it, and then I got ill after BGG Con, just about recovered in time for GridCon, and yeah, it's all a bit crazy. Lots of things planned for December, so we'll catch you later on. as I say, any feedback that you've got about the format of it, if you want to hear any more information, if you want to see more of my cat, or if you want me to answer any questions, then please let me know and I'll take that on board for next time. Also, if you want me to film this in the middle of a forest, no, don't say that. I think filming it here was worked quite well. It's good to have a little bit of a change of scenery now and again. So anyway, take care and thanks for watching.